Hi, and welcome to the weekly predictions based on astrology for the week of August 9, 2021. In terms of the stock market directions, I think Monday is going to be a down day with market reversing to up on either late Monday afternoon or by Tuesday. And I think the rest of the week has a greater probability of going up through Friday. In terms of the specific emphasis during different days of the week, I think Monday may see important news or some sort of considerations regarding gold and silver, and within maybe a day or two of the 9th of August is going to be a reversal in the gold and silver prices. Initially, like some months back, I thought that this might be an intermediate top, but at this time it looks like this might be a bottom. Regardless of the direction, I think we will soon see a reversal, and again within a day or two of the 9th of August. Other important things to pay attention to: from about the 8th through the 10th of August, there may be intense focus on things related to things like oil, gas, also chemicals, pharmaceuticals, beverages, and also anything to do with like liquids, water, navy, beverages, and even also music and audiovisual supplies, or say movie theaters. And for all of those areas, which are basically Neptunian areas, there might be either some concerns about them or their value may go down. We are seeing the drop, of course, in oil prices, but also again this may affect other Neptunian areas as well, and there again there may be some values underestimated, or there may be concerns about things not being as valuable as they used to be. However, as I said, this may actually turn around right after the 10th of August, so this is a temporary drop. And I will talk a little bit later about oil prices in the upcoming weeks as well. So then moving on to the US specific predictions for Monday and I guess the rest of the week. For US, the whole period from about the 2nd to 13th of August, and especially 10th and 11th of August, may see some increased focus on some important developments that may affect large numbers of people, and they may be related to communication, transportation, retail sales, commerce, those kind of activities. And it could be news about some acquisition, restructuring of one of the businesses, maybe new leaders, or some sale agreement negotiations, basically perhaps again new leader or restructuring, or it could be just kind of two companies entering into an agreement to perhaps expand their sphere of influence, or there can be announcements about social media or a new app or a new phone or a new device, again used for communication, transportation, or something along the lines of like an app that's used for, say, online shopping, and anything that needs like electricity or high tech for basically supporting those kind of commercial activities. So any cloud services, AI kind of features, robotics, power plants, and also any high-tech devices from, like I said, phones, electric cars, to airlines and even airspace. So in those areas, again, there could be some exciting announcements where, again, there's like a new project is announced, or a new app, or a new tool, or a new feature that, again, is this high-powered or electric-powered feature. And the goal for that kind of a project or feature would be to enable perhaps faster or more efficient shopping, shipment, or transportation, or efficient communication as well. For China, the 9th of August seemed to be important as well. However, for China, this looks like more of a stressful day, and there may be increased focus on either competition or deals with their partners, and there may be some focus in the news on things like power plays, spying, manipulative or deceptive activities, or activities that are not necessarily deceptive, as in like underground secretive activities, but rather literally they occur underground, such as mining, some recycling, or waste management, anything, or even some archaeological finds, anything that literally has to be excavated or dug up. as well as there may be increased focus on power plants, especially nuclear power plants, something that generates a lot of power. Let's see, and again, this could relate to like maybe agreements or sales or some negotiations for China, again, for all of those areas, such as negotiating maybe some deals that involve, say, waste management or recycling. For Tuesday and then through, I guess, Wednesday and even into Thursday, so the 10th through the 12th of August, globally, may be quite busy with various news coming up quite rapidly, sort of one piece of news after another. And those may focus on, again, communication, transportation, commerce, retail sales. And again, globally, there may be some announcements for companies in those areas about either leadership change or some new plans or new ways of kind of doing things. And it could be either a project that may affect many people. So maybe a new route is offered or route is canceled, or a new, the airline maybe cancel some of their routes or something like that. So something that affects many, passengers, many users. At the same time, there's an increased probability of some sort of accident involving transportation and or communication, and especially for any sort of vehicles that either go really fast, like a high-speed train or airplane or fast-moving car, or even like if there's a bicycle race, I would be careful, So anything that's moving super fast may kind of get into trouble, or any sort of engine that's kind of overheating, or a vehicle is going through a zone where there are a lot of fires. So anything that basically moves really fast and generates a lot of heat as it's moving, or it has to go through an area where it's some sort of a risky zone. Maybe there's some fighting, or literally it's an athletic kind of a competition event, especially anything to do with like racing, biking, things along those lines. So there's those areas on the 10th through the 12th may experience kind of a greater than usual probability of an accident. And in general, for communication, transportation, retail, commerce, trading, those kind of activities, there may be both increased, like I said, news, but also increased activities in general. Like there may be more people engaging in them, or more people wanting to travel, more people wanting to move or sell or buy something. And at the same time, there may be also like a heated kind of discussions about that, or they may feel kind of aggravated. Perhaps things don't go their way, or there's just, too many things to do. And so people may be a little bit kind of more on the edge, again, just because they're overwhelmed by all of the activities. And so negotiations may become tense, the travel may become a little bit more kind of, I wouldn't say it doesn't necessarily indicate a delay, but maybe it's just some sort of upsetting event that people have to go through. Is just too many people at the same time. Or, as I mentioned, of course, if there is an actual accident, then it may cause airplane delays, or people may just hear about some concerns and they may be worried about their own travel. And specifically during those days, August 10th through the 12th, if there's indeed an area or areas where there's fire or some turbulent weather related to like winds or excessively windy weather, I would specifically make sure that either livestock or pets are secured, because there is an increased probability of some sort of medical facilities or facilities like veterinarian facilities, or facilities where there are basically pets, like shelters or I guess farms or something like that, may be affected either by fire or by some, again, accident, or by some just kind of either mistreatment or injury. There's basically some risky circumstances. Again, this could be just hot weather. I guess that's another one that, if there are pets or livestock, any sort of animals, especially those that are sickly, like under care of a vet, that they are basically kept safe just for those, or with extra care for those few days, or if they're transported on the airplane or transported somewhere, again, that they are housed and kept safely. Let's see, so for the US, the days of 11th and 12th of August may see increased focus on either individual leaders, like maybe leaders of some large corporation or governmental leaders, or there may be increased focus on US as a country as being a leader in the world, especially in the area of like finance or its leadership in terms of being able to kind of earn things or on the profits that are generated. And the focus may be again either on the financial sphere, earnings, and again US being like the leader rather in the financial area, or I suppose both. There may be increased focus on female leaders specifically, and again it could be a female leader who is head of some financial organization, so it could be both. And the news will likely be positive for the US, so perhaps earnings might increase, or a person achieves a higher status, maybe they're promoted, for example, or maybe there's some beneficial agreement that US enters into that again financially will benefit the country. And as I mentioned, Thursday, Friday will likely have market go up, and by market I mean primarily Dow Jones and NASDAQ. So in terms of oil, as I mentioned earlier, I think things may turn around to up after the 10th of August, and on the upcoming sort of weeks, specifically for oil, another time period to pay attention to will be at the end of August, so the week of August 30th, and especially 30th through 3rd of September. There may be some increased focus again on either value of oil, but this time it may be more focused on either some difficult circumstances, maybe some fighting, some disagreements, or perhaps how project oil-related or gas-related or chemical-related projects should either progress, or countries that are involved in either shipping oil or producing oil-related, petroleum-related products. There may be some either, again, oil spills or loss of, some containers, or some ship, that's, tanker experiencing difficulty, or there could be just some fighting among those oil-producing countries because of some disagreements on how to basically, the policy perhaps. Or there may even be like a fire at an oil rig, or something along the lines of either an accident, disagreements, arguments, or bad weather causing, again, like say a spill or water contamination and things of that nature. At the same time, it's also going to be likely a difficult time for the market, and especially 3rd of September, there may be another like a big drop in the stock market. Let's see. After that, specifically for oil, at the end of September, so September 28th through 30th, they're actually, in the days preceding that time, there actually may be a slight rise in the oil prices. And right around the 28th, through 30th, there may be another reversal in the oil prices. At this time, I think might be an intermediate top, and the reason why things may turn, oil prices may go down right around the 30th of September, maybe because of some, again, increased concerns about either pandemic, various infectious diseases, or some restrictions on like travel and transportation. Then also at the end of October, 25th through the 28th of October of this year, there may be another possible drop in oil prices, and that could be due to some concerns about availability perhaps, or some issues with basically delivering even the inventory, or perhaps there might be general kind of consensus that the prices are too high, and so some regulations are implemented to basically bring oil prices down, and that's sort of right at the end of October. And then later at the end of November, so 27th through the 30th of November of this year, there yet again may be increased focus on oil prices. And again, this could be in conjunction again of evaluation of the sort of status of epidemic, weather, and needs for like travel and shipping industry, or perhaps concerns about some, again, oil spill or accidents involving like transportation of oil. And at that time, I don't think there necessarily may be any kind of a peak or reversal in oil prices. It's just that those, oil, gas, chemicals related areas may be in the news again at the end of November, and at that time I think there may be again a downtrend for oil and gas prices. Then looking just a very brief sort of a prediction for next year, specifically related to oil, when we will have Jupiter entering Pisces the 29th of December. It will stay there basically more or less through like mid-May of next year. and it will again briefly sort of exit Pisces later in 2022 and come back sometime in October back into Pisces. But the bottom line is that with Jupiter bringing kind of expansion and usually optimism, and also increase with it to anything that has to do with Pisces, and that will be especially strongly felt from January of 2022 through spring, mid-May of 2022, and especially early April. So anything that has to do with Jupiter, meaning Pisces, so anything to do with like water, excessive precipitation, oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, those areas, movies, audiovisual equipment, music, those areas may experience a boost in the sense that there might be either increased prices on those sort of related services and products, and or there may be increased just number and amount of it. So obviously if say there's too much oil available, the price may go down, but in the past it typically did coincide with oil prices actually going up, and at the same time there's typically increased precipitation, especially like I said in early April, and just increased, say maybe profits for say pharmaceutical companies, perhaps increased profits for companies that specifically either sell beverages of some sort or any pharmaceuticals, especially anything that's either based on liquids or dissolved in liquid, or I don't know, is not basically a pill but more like is in a liquid form, and or anything that has to do with addictions. So either the number of actual drugs may increase, just availability of them, or perhaps there's improved situations that as in maybe there's some medicine is developed or provided to specifically address some sort of addictive states. So all of those areas basically may be more in the news. Companies related to those areas may make more profit in basically winter to spring, especially of 2022. And another thing that in the past curiously coincided with these kind of transits was one, of course, floods, as I mentioned. But the other thing was interesting. In 1524, there was actually a prediction of a super major flood occurring, where literally rich people were building like boats, and one count, I think, even built like an ark to basically save themselves, from the flood and things like that. However, the floods actually never came, but surrounding the period there was this mass hysteria in Europe in anticipation of the floods occurring. So long story short, I think that regardless, and I think we have seen like already sort of preview of the floods occurring when Jupiter briefly entered Pisces in 2021. So I think indeed this time we may actually see increased precipitation and floods. But regardless, with or without floods, I think there indeed may be just this increased focus on sort of that sphere of, I guess, human mind that is leaning towards, I would say, spiritual realm, but also into maybe realm where people are seeing things that are not there, basically. Whether, they're seeing things because they're like very spiritually enlightened and they're actually seeing, something amazing, or they're just literally not doing so well, and they're just overcome by these visions, and they fall into hysteria because things just occur to them that perhaps again are not real. So either way, there may be just this kind of a sense in the winter to spring, especially of next year, of the general aura sort of in the air, so to speak, and that's a global prediction. I think I'll wrap it up here, and basically follow me for more predictions. I hope this was useful to you for this week, and I'll catch you guys later. Until next time, have a fantastic week. Bye.